1 in 5 suffer.
Erase the stigma.
Brain difference is not a crime.
Mental health isn't just your problem.
It's our problem.
And now, Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave.
Welcome to Mental Health Mondays.
Back to Mental Health Mondays. This man. We're so glad that Lalah could join us and speak with us.
Well, Lalah was here last week.
I get it, but now we want to turn the corner.
Exactly.
And because Lalah is legendary in her own right, and so we could really spend an hour just catching up with Lalah on what Lalah has been up to.
Well, that's true. But before we get to the lovely, the incomparable Lalah Hathaway, I want to remind you guys that today's show is brought to you by Mental Health Mondays. And to keep Mental Health Mondays coming to you like this, we want you to stop by loveandbeyondreason.org and click on the donations page for Mental Health Mondays. That's how we keep it coming to you.
Absolutely.
And we bring you wonderful guests, like I said, the incomparable,
Iconic.
The iconic, the legendary. That's pretty good. The one and only Lalah Hathaway.
Hi.
Hey. Welcome back.
So for those
so sparkling.
So for those who need to be reminded, in the world of music, Lay is, first of all, you're a 5-time Grammy winner.
Yes.
I am.
10-time nominee.
11.
Oh, excuse me, darling.
Dave, shame. Dave tried to shame you because it's probably, Dave's trying to steal nominations.
No. In reality, once you get past 10, they kind of, it's like your kids.
Listen, I'm trying to do like you.
Oh man, you're doing it though. You were absolutely doing it.
And we can't ever forget, Lay, and I know you don't, and the world does not as well, that you are also the daughter of the legendary and beloved vocalist Donny Hathaway, who is family. His word is synonymous.
And
with
we talked about that last
yes.
week, and we appreciate Lalah being so open with us. When we come back, more with the conversation with Lalah Hathaway.
Be right back.
Help someone who is struggling by supporting the National Alliance on Mental Illness and be a part of the NAMI effect. Hope starts with you.
Hey guys, listen up. Learn something.
All right, before we actually get into what you currently have cooking, Lalah, which is always something, and it's always any accolade that you receive, by the way, and we all know that it's not only are you worthy, but it's been a long time.
Well deserved.
Coming.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So listen, I have to share a story. I have to. So when Lalah got, I believe it was your first nomination, and Dave was gone out of town, and she had a party, a nomination party.
Yes.
And I was like, how can we have a party? And ironically, it was at a bowling alley, and I said, how can we have a party for Lay for a
Grammy nomination
for Grammy and not have a Grammy at the actual party?
Now, mind you, I was out of town.
So I showed up. And I brought with me one of Dave's Grammys. And
Yes,
Lalah, Lalah, please
what did I do?
Tell the people what you did, Lalah. Do you want me to tell them, or you want to tell them?
I breastfed that thing.
She
I
did.
put it right to my bosom.
Lalah nursed the Victrola into.
I did.
The Grammy itself was so appreciative of Lalah's nurturing spirit.
With the milk of soul music.
The milk of soul
So
music.
I would like to say that many people may not know the story,
But wait, she won.
She won. And Dave's Grammy impregnated Lalah with quintuplets.
With
Quintuplets.
Yes.
I'm looking for octuplets or tentuplets.
My Grammy strength is strong. So
yes.
Get this, Lalah.
We have something else to share
Get
with
this. Marla shared that exact story with another guy friend of ours that came over to the house after we were playing pickleball or something
Shout
like
out
that.
to Jared Johnson.
Jared Johnson. Lo and behold, he does
he strokes the
he
Grammy
does a song.
of lactation.
He literally does an arrangement and performance of Lift Every Voice and Sing. And then he got nominated.
He's nominated, and we'll know on Sunday.
Out of here.
He said, "What did Lalah do?" He says,
And
I don't have breasts." I said, "Well," Marla said, "Well, you might want to hold it up there." He held it up. He's nominated.
Just treat it like a little baby.
I was
think
very
it's that Grammy.
I have
though.
to be very concerned though that's how he handled that, because if a member had come out, never mind.
Well,
Anyway,
just
that'd
wait
been a
till
problem.
wait till you see what I do with the Grammy next. That's all it takes, Lord.
Put it away.
This
Put it
Grammy needs
away.
to be baptized. I see that now.
Yes.
But anyway, so yeah, shout out to Jared and Alvin
Alvin,
Chia
yes.
for their
Good luck.
and their category is
Best acapella, best arrangement by instrumental or vocals.
Excellent.
okay.
They got that. They got that.
You know, and it's a timing thing. And lift up your voice and sing is the time is now for that.
Yeah. Wow.
So
Good
Lay,
luck.
what I'm sorry, I know that there's another nomination. Tell us a little bit about that on the table right now.
There's not a nomination right now. There is we're not supposed to talk about it, although
Oh.
people do talk about it. It's okay. So there's a little award that rhymes with Oscar.
Yes.
And
Well, can I talk about it, because I was
yeah, because I don't know about it, and I'm not nominated for one.
Right.
I might be one day.
well, we
That's
do
the-
know that you did a song with Robert Glasper, and it
Yes.
is it's seriously being considered, from what I hear.
That's what you heard.
From
don't
what
know
I
about
hear,
it.
you know what I mean? You don't know anything about that, but from what I
No.
heard,
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
being
People are
seriously considered is it song of the year for the
for
Oscars?
best song. But let me just tell you that there are a lot of great songs in the category.
Oh, always.
So just to even
Always.
be in the what I call
Right.
the noms, to be nominated for a chance
To be nominated.
is great.
Right.
And I'm going to put that on my resume. I don't care what happens
Absolutely,
anymore.
absolutely. And you know what? All you have to do is find somebody with an Oscar. See what you can do with that.
Breastfeed it.
You
I
never
don't know
know.
any. I mean, I think
Layla, I'm gonna have to jack somebody. I can find one for you.
maybe Glasper has one already. I'm gonna have to just figure it out. I'm gonna have to figure it out.
I think Dave needs to do another visit to David Foster's house.
Oh yeah.
If I tried to
Well,
run away with an Oscar from someone's house that I didn't get permission to, we'll leave it at that.
Just borrowing it, just because so it can be nurtured. That's all. So Lay, I want to just right quick segue into or continue the conversation as far as your legendary musical contribution, and as it has collided with your voice and your reasoning when it comes to mental health.
Is that a question?
Well, yeah, it's kind of.
Well, I mean, well, actually, we covered that last
No,
week.
no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm
Okay,
sa-
help
what-
me
that's-
understand.
that's
I don't
not-
understand what you're talking about.
Because what I'm saying is that everybody has. So in other words, Layla has such a legendary impact on the world of music. So here we are talking
thank
about
you.
Grammy. We're talking about the nom of Oscar, and I also am always linking Donny's actual legendary impact on our community. So that's what I'm saying. So I don't know, like,
so then is the question more
how does she
when you were growing up around this rich heritage
right.
that was literally your family, was that something that you knew that you always wanted to do, or was that something that just kind of you fell into?
I always wanted to be a musician. I was always a musician. I never wanted
Right.
to be a musician. I was always a musician.
And when you say musician, was that voice first, or was that an instrument first, or?
No, because people that were professional in music were musicians, and that's
Right.
what I wanted
Right.
to be. I didn't delineate, whether I was a singer or a musician. I always felt like, oh, I have like the original instrument. I have my voice. I'm a musician. And then when I went to college, I used to hang out with guys that played instruments, and I used to try to play like they tried to play. And so I always felt like I never wanted to be like the precious girl in front of the group.
Right.
I always wanted to be one of the guys. I always
Right.
wanted to be a musician and play my instrument.
Well, little,
So
that's a fun fact for me, by the way. A fun fact is the first time I ever heard anyone refer to their voice as an instrument, it was you.
yeah.
When you said,
It's-
I got to take care of my instrument, and I was like, wait, what are you playing? Like, what does that mean? Like, and you were like, huh, silly? It's my voice.
It's crazy. If you go into like a class of people and you say, how many, you go to music school and do a clinic, how many of you are musicians, really musicians? And like all the boys raise their hand.
Right.
How many of you are singers? And like all the girls.
Everybody else raises their hand.
Right. And some boys too, but all the girls, because women are not really socialized to be musicians, because that would mean that you play guitar or you play a horn. No one ever really thinks that the voice is like the original instrument.
Hold that thought. We're going to go to a break. We'll be right back.
When Dave and Marla get together, it's hot.
You may not realize it, but these words, often used to describe someone with a mental health condition, can be very harmful. In a country where 1 in 5 people are affected by a mental health condition, it's time for all of us to step up and change the conversation. Just because someone's struggle isn't obvious on the outside doesn't mean they aren't hurting on the inside. We need to see the person, not the condition. Join with me, pledge to be stigma-free.
It's time for the Mental Health Minute with Marla and Dave.
All this month, we've been presenting the key findings of the mental health state of America according to the mental health, or the annual report released by mentalhealthamerica.gov. Here's what the data shows.
More people are reporting frequent thoughts of suicide and self-harm than has ever been recorded in the MHA screening program since its launch in 2014. Since the COVID-19 pandemic began to spread rapidly in March 2020, over 178,000 people have reported frequent suicidal ideation. Young people are struggling most with their mental health. The proportion of youth ages 11 through 17 who accessed screening was 9% higher than the average in 2019.
Young people are struggling most with their mental health. The proportion of youth ages 11 through 17 who assess. Did you?
I just did that one. So what Marla should have been saying is rates of suicidal ideation are highest among youth, especially LGBTQ plus youth. In September 2020, over half of 11 through 17-year-olds reported having thoughts of suicide or self-harm, more than half, or nearly every day of the previous 2 weeks.
We will bring you the final results of the report next week. This message is brought to you by Mental Health Mondays in conjunction with Loving Beyond Reason and NAMI San Fernando Valley.
David is a thinker.
I never do anything without thinking about it first.
Marla is a feeler.
I basically wear my personality on my sleeve.
But when Marla and Dave get together, it's like a match dancing with a firecracker.
I was so anxious to be you that I just flubbed right through your thing.
And part of that was my fault. I was actually editing as I went for time's sake. But so that probably threw you off.
So
you were actually more of a Ron Jeremy approach to what was going on there.
You see how he treats me, Layla?
Whatever was on the teleprompter,
right.
you were ready to read along with it. You don't know Ron Jeremy?
She said,
Oh, no, that's hilarious. I said Ron Jeremy, and I meant Ron Burgundy.
This is becoming the most.
Wait, did you really mean Ron Burgundy?
I meant Ron Burgundy. That's why I said.
You told up all your tea, Dave. Hush, Dave. Be quiet.
That is funny.
Oh my goodness!
But that's what happens when we get together with our friend Layla.
I was gonna say I feel like that I have a mental health COVID breakdown because Layla and I are very good friends and we haven't been able to see each other. So I'm trying to shove everything into this 1 hour, and it's just not.
It's the fact that he said Ron Jeremy and then he did that sound effect, and I was like, oh.
Threw everybody off. Had I gone with it, understanding what I said, I probably could have made some sense. Anyway.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's the best laugh of the month.
That is hilarious.
So Lay, we left off before we went to the break, and we were talking about, you were basically talking about the difference, or what you observed when you were in college or in your university, about the difference between a musician, how people see themselves, between a musician and a singer. And you always
think-
saw yourself as a musician.
I did, and I think that women are sometimes socialized to see themselves as less than somehow, and that was my quest, was to be able to hang with the people that I thought were great, male and female, and so I always thought of myself as a musician.
Did you have pressure at all? Because, you know, the minute, and I said this on the live earlier, you know, your last name alone, like that's just it. Like it's like the first and final word in music excellence in the community, for real. When you say Hathaway, boom, wait a minute. First thing that pops out your mouth, Donny Hathaway. Second thing that pops out your mouth is Lalah Hathaway. So when you were finding your voice, was that something that you embraced, or did you feel pressure to live up to?
I never felt any pressure to live up to anything. And the greatest thing about being me is that I am the daughter of a father. And so I will never be that. I never have to be that.
Right.
But the greatest thing is that I can rest in the comfort of knowing that I come from like the greatest singer who ever lived, and that I can just find my path. So I never felt any of that kind of pressure. No.
Did you ever have a, oh my God, I have this gift moment? Like your tone and everything is so.
When did you
Donny-esque.
first realize the depth of your gifts? I guess that's what. No,
I'm saying exactly what I said.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I meant what I said.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You know, sometimes I'm singing and I'm not in my body, and I have a moment like, you know, oh God, I'm so lucky. I'm so blessed. I have those moments because I don't. Sometimes my instrument will go away and then come back. It's on loan. None of it has anything to do with me, and I'm super, super keenly, acutely aware of that.
What do you mean on loan?
It's on loan. When I go, it's, you know, it's gone. It's not mine. It doesn't. I'm just a channel for the thing. It does not belong to me. It belongs to all the people that are listening to it and need it and want it and can feel it. It's not. It's of me. It's not me. Does that make sense?
Well, that leads me to another question, though. So going back to when you said that you first understood and you realized that your instrument was the original instrument. Now, do you think that applies to everyone who sings at any different level, or just those who take it to the level and apply the discipline that other musicians do to their instruments?
I think esoterically speaking, there are some that have really elevated the craft of vocalizing. Mm-hmm. But I think on a real level, I think that everyone's first instrument is their voice. I believe that the same way that you taught the kids how to talk, they learn how to speak, listening and looking at you. Mm-hmm. They learned how to make words. They learned how to emote. They learn how to emote different feelings in the tone, and that's where they learned how to talk. And I think that at some level, everyone learns how to sing in that way, but they unlearn it as they grow up. But your first instrument is that you cry, you need something, you make that sound, and your parents come. You know what I mean? And mothers know all the sounds of all the different cries. That's music. So I do believe it's the original.
So what you're saying is that I did this to Moniz. Okay, yeah, I understand. Fault. I created the clapback queen.
Well, when we come back, the question that I have for Lalah is more about, you said that you actually do master classes and you teach younger musicians, you mentor younger musicians as well, I'm sure. What approach do you use when you're talking to an up-and-coming musician? Do you kind of try to shape them into something that you see that they can be, or do you just help them develop on their own so that they can have their horizons expanded? We'll be right back with Lalah Hathaway. All right, that music says what?
Who's shacked up?
I really
for me
don't
to dance this thing.
I really don't know what's going on today. Marla is so excited that we have our good friend Lalah back with us.
I do really miss Lalah. I do. I have to be honest.
Marla, what was the poll question last week?
Okay. Mental Health Monday, focus. Last week's poll question: what percentage of adults with mental illness report an unmet need for treatment?
Your options were A, 12%, B, 18%, or C, 24%.
We'll give you first shot at this, Lay. So we'll ask
I'm
it
going to
again.
say 67%. Was that one of the answers?
What percentage of adults with
99.9?
mental illness report an unmet need for treatment? They haven't been treated. And your options were 12, 18, or 24. And yes, Layla, it is the
24.
highest number, 24%.
Yeah.
Marla, what's the new poll question for
The
next
new poll
week?
question is: what percentage of youth with depression do not receive any mental health treatment? A, 13%.
That would
B,
be 15%. A, 15%.
B, 40%.
Yes.
Or C, 60%.
There you go. And remember, once again, I'm going to harp on it always. Stop by Love and Beyond Reason or NAMI San Fernando Valley and check out the Mental Health Mondays page.
We need and would love your support.
Yes. See
And
you next.
vote.
Absolutely. Vote on these poll questions. We'll be right back. All right, so Leigh, I was asking you before we went to the break, how do you approach helping a younger musician, whether they be a vocalist or an instrumentalist, really develop their facility?
I kind of feel like I'm a hands-on sort of person, and I feel like I can't give you that which you don't already have. So what I do try to encourage people to do is find their path. And I know that's a very kind of esoteric
vague,
sort
yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
It's a little bit vague. But if you know, you know. There is something that you have that no one else has, and you have to figure out a way to develop that. I'm not going to always know what it is. It's your gift. So I do try to encourage, like, listening to music, making long tones and sounds. I really am at a super basic level with people about how to make sound, how to breathe the sound out, how to become comfortable with their actual sound, how not to listen to a record and try to copy the sound that's there. I'm really about whatever your gift is, figuring it out through the process of just continually doing it.
I remember one time you and I were talking, and we were just, chopping it up and sharing story. And there's certain things that we've said and shared stories in the past that really just inside me, I was like, what? And you were talking about being at Berkeley, I believe, and your tone being so low that that was, I guess, for whoever, it was presenting a problem, or there was something associated with that. That you were told, I don't know, like, right. And
that was in high school.
High school.
In high school. Yeah, I think my tone was so low, and I think that at that time that I was in high school, which was 6 years ago, there was this kind of focus on this classical European kind of neoclassical voice and what that sounded like. And really, I didn't sound like any of that. And so for someone teaching that, my voice is heavy and more gospel and more breathy. And, I've had teachers tell me any number of things that in my mind now just were not correct. I had one teacher, I asked the teacher once to show me some way I could work with the chord I was singing. And she said, well, your voice is not supposed to do that. And I said, but it does do that. So what do I do with what I can do? I think a lot of things have changed. I study with the coach, Lucy, in London, and she teaches me all kinds of different things, like the way that even breathing exercises are given now. It's almost like you're teaching athletes how to breathe for athletics. So things are different now. Things are more open now. There's a lot more people in the space saying, no, this is actually what I sound like. So let's deal with this.
And that is, I guess, my question. The second question to that, or the sub question or statement, would be finding your focus to just do you through negativity, which there's so much of that right now in this world. Everything is about, the criticism. We joked about clapback, but that's interesting to me because it didn't deter you. You were not deterred.
Yeah. It didn't deter me because I understood my path, and that is key. There are a lot of people when I go to the clinics, and the first question they ask is, so how do we get on the playlist at Spotify? How do we get a record deal? Which I don't even know, do they even do those anymore? how do we get on, you know, there's this the passion for the music is here, and the want for all the stuff that they think comes with it is up here. So a lot of what I'm talking to people about is figure out if music is your passion. Figure out if it's the thing you wake up in the morning and you want to do. Figure out if you would work at the Farm Fresh and do music on the weekends because you love it that much. Because most people in the music industry are not going to make any money.
Did she say Farm
Are
Fresh?
also working at Farm Fresh.
That was a reach. She went to Farm Fresh.
It's true. It's true.
Amazon.
No, that's very true. It's a unique experience. The road that we travel. I want to go back to. I remember in just hanging around as friends when I first heard you do the. Ooh, I can't even do it. Ooh, ooh. That's my version of doing
that would be called the dead cow moan, but that's not what she does.
That's bad news.
For those of you who don't know, Lalah can actually sing more than one note at a time. That's a strange.
I call them tones because they're not like
tone. That's true.
I can't do it on the hard sounds, just the breathy sounds.
But I'll put it to you like this: when in one of your first Grammy nods,
Snarky Puppy.
With Snarky Puppy, when you were just at a live performance, when you say that your gift is on loan and sometimes it really just feels like it's flowing through you, what ran through your mind? What was flowing through you at that moment when you said, I used to do this kind of as fun and it's joking around, but this is for real with an audience who paid to see me.
Yeah. You know what? That Snarky Puppy thing was such a blessing and so fortuitous. My friend Sput called me and said, hey, you should come play with my band. We don't have any money. Just come. We got an arrangement of it, something. We're making a record. Everybody in the audience is on the stage. We wear headphones. It's real cool. Yeah. So I went. We rehearsed the arrangement once or twice on the day of recording it. We recorded it. I do not know if you can see what is happening.
Oh yeah,
in that thing, you can see what's going on. I couldn't wear the in-ears because I hate them, so I wore headphones. Everyone is just sitting there. I don't know what the vamp is going to be because Corey Henry's just going to play whatever he wants. So there's all that time that goes up into that thing, and then I try it twice and it doesn't work, and then I try it 2 more times and then it worked. So it's actually, I'm learning it and working it out real time. Yeah. So sometimes when I watch that video, I get chills because, I mean, you know me, if someone calls me up to sing, I may do 8 bars.
Right. You're not trying to take over the show.
I may spend a hot 16, but I do a little thing and then I leave.
Right.
That performance is 6 minutes long. There's all that information and then that thing. And I knew walking off the stage.
Really?
Yeah. When Michael Leake said, Lalah Hathaway, when I walked off of the stage, I told Jermaine, I said, that was different. I was not present for any of that. And that was different.
Wow.
That is amazing.
That really is amazing.
It speaks to your gift. Well, we are in, as usual, time flies when we're having fun.
Duh.
We appreciate Lalah, and we'll be right back with more.
Bad.
What are you doing?
Hurry.
Worthless.
Don't trust them. They'll hurt you. You're worthless. It's pointless. When the pain of schizophrenia meets hope, everything can change. Help someone who is struggling by supporting the National Alliance on Mental Illness and be a part of the NAMI effect. Hope starts with you.
It's raw, real, and unfiltered.
Lalah, thank you for just
Absolutely.
I just have to say that I'm glad that our paths cross and God saw fit for us to actually become friends and family.
Absolutely.
You're just an incredible human being. I have to say that. So
And
'Cause
your
it's 'cause it's
willingness
true.
to share even about difficult subjects from last week. You know, we really appreciate you. As we go out, give us one thought how music can really just
Heal.
be a healing balm to people with, especially during these times.
Yeah, music is a healer. It's love. It's all of those things. Music, for me personally, is my best friend in the room that knows everything about me, that knows when I'm ready to leave, that knows who I think is cute in the room, that knows when I'm mad. So for me, music is always a place where I go. It's like my church.
That's awesome.
And this is just in a word. Are you ready to DJ my next party?
Listen, girl, I have not even touched a
Okay,
turntable
that's enough.
in
That's
so
enough
long.
out of you. That's enough out of you. I don't want to hear this COVID delay. Zip it.
I got a shed.
Our guest has been Lalah Hathaway. She's been with us for a couple of weeks. We appreciate you, Lalah. Love you. See you soon.
Thank you. Love y'all too.